are focused on the midterms a bit. We're still a ways out, but the Republicans are all looking at the midterm elections as some sort of saving grace to these far left policies Biden's been pushing. This obviously doesn't help, but traditionally, would something like this drive votes?
I think it depends. Um, I think it depends on what else happens and how this relates to Joe Biden as he likes to present himself. If by next year the Biden administration is mired in, maybe crisis is too strong a word, but um, what's a good word? Is mired in malaise, then this
Mm.
is going to really hurt them. I mean, you can see a scenario in which we have reached $30 trillion worth of debt. We have enormous deficits because the Democrats, on the back of both parties spending $5 trillion fighting COVID,
Mm.
decided to spend another four, maybe more. You can see a scenario in which the inflation risk is real and doesn't look like it's going away. You can see a scenario in which various culture war fights, and I don't use that disparagingly, meaningful culture war fights have trickled down to the local level. For example, critical race theory, which, despite what many in the press say is not fake, is actually motivating real people at the local level, and in which our foreign policy looks like a disaster and America seems embarrassed on the world stage. And you can see uh, the swing voters and the middle class voters who abandoned Trump saying, well, Trump's not on the ballot. This president's not doing a good job. And we're going back to the Republican Party. So, yeah, I can absolutely see this. I don't think if everything's rosy by next year and the economy's booming and the country's fine, that too many voters will look back and say, well, yes, but do you remember what happened in Afghanistan? But unfortunately for Joe Biden and for America, it doesn't look as if everything's going to be rosy by next year.
Right.
So, I
Well,
mean, he should be worried about this.
and the other piece of it, of course, is that the threat of a terror attack. I mean, that's what we really need to worry about. That they are going to use this land to do what they did prior to September 11th, 2001, which is form groups to plan our demise and come up with clever new ways of getting at us that we hadn't anticipated or considered. And I just don't know whether Joe Biden, to round back to our original point, who's been wrong about so many things in his foreign policy history, is going to be anticipating that in the way we would want of a sound, sage commander in chief.
Well, look, Joe Biden is not a sound sage commander in chief. I think it is fair to say that we have not had great leadership in the White House for quite a long time, and that whatever virtues Joe Biden possesses that Donald Trump did not have do not change that. He has been wrong on pretty much every foreign policy question. He also has the benefit of correcting himself when he's right. I mean, he's a guy, who almost goes out of his way to make the wrong calls. I mean, this is a man who voted for the second Iraq war but opposed the first. He voted for the second one but opposed the surge. He was against the killing of Osama bin Laden. He wanted to partition Iraq. And look at every single thing he predicted in July that you played. He's just always wrong. And we put him in the White House. And I'm sure people had various reasons for doing that. But if you were to go up to 30,000 feet and scour the country for someone to be the commander in chief, it would have been somewhat odd to pick Joe Biden. And he is now in that position. And it really, I don't think I've said but the last president in my entire life writing about politics, Megyn. It's just not how I think, even 2 days after the new president has been inaugurated. But 7 months, that is not how America works. We invest a huge amount of power in the executive branch, far too much in my view. And the least we can expect of the people who acquire it is to take responsibility for the decisions that they make.